Hey, this is Wally from Dean Team Golf Carts. Today we're going to go over a little bit of winter maintenance on the batteries. Here we have a 12 volt gas cart. So this would have similar to a 12 volt battery you would see like in a lawnmower tractor, small car. It's a smaller size battery, but same principle as the cars. You want to kind of keep if it's a fillable battery, you want to make sure there's water in them. Over the winter, you want to try to keep these charged up. That's going to be your biggest problem is they sit all winter. If they don't get, the cart doesn't get run, or it doesn't, you don't have a maintainer, a charger, some kind of a, charging maintainer to keep it all winter. This one has some corroded clamps. We'll probably go over that, clean these up. Usually you can take a wire brush, something to kind of clean it up a little bit. They do make some dielectric grease you can put on here to keep the corrosion down. You can go to the auto parts store and they make some little felt rings that you can slip over, and that keeps any kind of corrosion down. In the winter, you'll notice some of that will pop up on you. They do make a battery protector you can put on the cables and the clamps to try to keep that all cleaned up. But over the winter, it's going to be more a charging issue. If you drive the cart, you do have a charging system on the cart that will charge the battery back up. So it's kind of like a car. They say to at least start it up every week to 2 weeks and let it run. It's kind of the same principle. If you would start the cart up and let it run for 15-20 minutes, it would charge that battery back up. But if it's going to be in storage or it's going to be in a garage for all winter, which could be potentially 6 months, something like that, then I would recommend putting a small maintainer, which is a maintenance-free charger, which it's not going to burn the battery up, and it's going to maintain that 12 volts, but not overcharge it to where you're going to have to worry about burning the battery up. They do make solar ones. If it's outside, you can get a little solar maintainer, but you can get them pretty much at any auto parts store. Hardware stores sell them also, but for the 12 volt system, you definitely want to get that. Now on your electric carts, same principle. You want to make sure that those batteries stay charged up, which would require plugging them in. Most of your lithiums, you definitely don't want the lithiums to get down into the danger zone, which is 3 to 10. I wouldn't let it get under 10%, but 3%, 10%, you definitely want to plug that in and get that lithium back charged up. On the bank of batteries, say you got a 36 or 48 volt, put your charger on every couple weeks and just top off the batteries, make sure they're charged, because that's what we see the biggest problem is when they come in. If the batteries get too low, those chargers, those factory chargers that you have, will not charge them up once they get to a lower voltage. Say like for instance, you had a 12 volt battery and you let this get down to 4 volts. Well, on a maintainer charger, it may not be enough to get it brought back up to 12 volts. So then you've got a battery issue. You come in and say, hey, my battery's dead. Just need a bigger charger to get it, to charge it up all the way, because those have circuitry in them, and it's made to not overcharge the battery or burn the battery up. So a lot of them you can leave on for if you've got a maintainer, you can leave one of those maintainer chargers on for a month at a time, couple months. But on your bank of batteries, say you're 48 volt, plug it in, and just let it top off, let it charge up, and then by springtime you'll be ready to go. Because if you let it just sit all winter in the cold, you're going to bring it to us, and then sometimes your batteries, especially if you're on the borderline of maybe being not a good battery. You know, say you've got 6 batteries that are, you know, right on the borderline, and you're not charging them that winter, that may be enough to put them over the edge where you have to buy all new batteries. But if you maintain them properly, sometimes you can get, it's going to prolong the life of the battery too. You know, definitely with the expense of the batteries, you definitely want to maintain them because they're expensive. And when you come in and have to buy 6 batteries, these aren't so bad, you know, one 12-volt battery, but the better you maintain them, the longer you're going to get out of it. And if you got a low battery too, it's going to affect the, you know, how, especially how this would run. You know, it'd be similar to a car battery. If you got a low battery, it's not going to run, you know, up to you know, 100%. You may be you know, lacking in the power of the motor. But that's kind of where we're at on the winterizer. Just make sure you keep them charged. And you know, we went over some other videos with checking the water in them. So if you do charge them over the winter time, make sure on the fillable batteries that you have water in them, because you can burn them up that way too. If you run them out of water and you keep charging them in the winter time, yeah, you'll burn those up if you let them go dry. So you always want to check the water on them, you know, while you're charging them. But that's kind of the winter. That's what we look at. And you can do a simple meter test too if you got a multimeter. You know, you can kind of check the charge on the battery and see where you're at. Most batteries should be about you know, 12.4, 12.6, something like that. You put a maintainer on, it should be, you know, go up into the 13. An alternator will put out usually 13.8 to 14 volts charge back into that 12-volt battery. So even starting it, you know, if you're in a spot where you can't get to the electric real easy in that, and start it up and let it run for 15, 20 minutes, and that will help you too, because you do have a charging system on the cart. So that's kind of winter 101 on the batteries.